Hello and welcome to the lead story. I'm Idris and with me is
Hani Chocolati.
In this edition of the lead story, we will take a detailed look into the Rajasthan political crisis. The Supreme Court on Thursday said Rajasthan Assembly Speaker C.P. Joshi cannot decide on disqualification of rebel Congress MLAs till the top court makes a decision on the issue, in what the Sachin pilot camp will consider as a win.
The Supreme Court also allowed the Rajasthan High Court to go ahead and deliver its ruling on the plea by dissident MLAs against the disqualification notices served by the Speaker, but said that the verdict will remain subject to the outcome of the hearing in the Supreme Court. Speaker C.P. Joshi today said that the approaching the Supreme Court a day after he was asked to defer action against the rebel MLAs led by now sacked Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot.
Well, Hanisha, we have Jagdish. I spoke with him earlier and he has more details about this. Let's take a look on the visuals.
Big number of cases in India on a daily basis. India crossing 11 lakh mark. The real challenge lies with the government, how they contain the spread of this pandemic. In states like Delhi, the cases have really come down, and that is because the government has increased the testing rate. When we talk about Maharashtra and Bengaluru in particular, Maharashtra alone has seen cases more than 1 lakh, and Bengaluru also has seen a spike of cases for a 1 week of lockdown. As if now the lockdown has been relaxed, and it has been told that lockdown is not a solution to contain the virus. The only expectation what people and the people around the world have is a vaccine. UK has done two trials of this vaccine, and at the earliest of 2021 we could really see a vaccine that could be a real sigh of relief for people all over the world. As if now India is looking forward in the days ahead when monsoon and winter will set. As per a recent study, when the temperature decreases in the monsoon and winter, the political uncertainty is not going to end very soon. Today the Supreme Court clearly deferring the High Court's order and saying that the decision would be taken up and deferred the decision till the next Monday, clearly says now that the disqualification of the MLAs depends on the Speaker's move. Tomorrow the High Court will take up this hearing again, and this particular hearing gives more time to Sachin Pilot and his camp to decide the future course of action. The Gehlot camp on the other hand is very keen to prove majority on the floor of the House. Now it's clearly open that both the camps are ready to see to that this government with this decision by the court will put them into a comfortable position in the days ahead. The political uncertainty is not going to end very soon. Today the Supreme Court clearly deferring the High Court's order and saying that the decision would be taken up and deferred the decision till the next Monday, clearly says now that the disqualification of the MLAs depends on the Speaker's move. Tomorrow the High Court will take up this hearing again, and this particular hearing gives more time to Sachin Pilot and his camp to decide the future course of action. The Gehlot camp on the other hand is very keen to prove majority on the floor of the House. Now it's clearly open that both the camps are ready to see to that this government with this decision by the court will put them into a comfortable position in the days ahead. The political uncertainty is not going to end very soon. Today the Supreme Court clearly deferring the High Court's order and saying that the decision would be taken up and deferred the decision till the next Monday, clearly says now that the disqualification of the MLAs depends on the Speaker's move. Tomorrow the High Court will take up this hearing again, and this particular hearing gives more time to Sachin Pilot and his camp to decide the future course of action. The Gehlot camp on the other hand is very keen to prove majority on the floor of the House. Now it's clearly open that both the camps are ready to see to that this government with this decision by the court will put them into a comfortable position in the days ahead. The political uncertainty is not going to end very soon. Today the Supreme Court clearly deferring the High Court's order and saying that the decision would be taken up and deferred the decision till the next Monday clearly says now that the disqualification of the MLAs depends on the Speaker's move. Tomorrow the High Court will take up this hearing again, and this particular hearing gives more time to Sachin Pilot.
Well, Hanisha, Jagdish gave us a brief and he also informed about the corona updates too,
Right.
along with this Rajasthan crisis. Well, that was very informative, and talking about Mr. Joshi, who served disqualification notices to the descendants for anti-party activities last week, was asked not to act against the MLAs till Friday. Addressing a press conference, Joshi said he planned to move the Supreme Court to avert what he called a constitutional crisis. The Speaker has the right to disqualify MLAs. No one can interfere in the Speaker's decisions, he said, adding that whatever judgment the court has given, and I quote him here, I have respected till now. However, does this respect and acceptance mean that one's authority overlaps the role of the other? Well, Hanisha, if we talk about the split that has happened in Rajasthan, so two camps from the Congress, right? So one is the young cadre and another one is the senior cadre.
Right.
So Ashok Gehlot is a senior person, senior Congress leader, and he was given the chief ministership. And Sachin Pilot somewhere felt that he deserved it more, since he is a young leader and he is very dynamic. And it is said that he worked hard for the elections.
Right. It is true, Idris, because if you remember the elections that had happened last year, BJP was not very strong in Rajasthan.
Absolutely.
Though Vasundhara Raje was there then, they still didn't have any opportunity of winning. They did not see any perspective there because
Right.
Sachin Pilot had worked really hard, and all of us in the country, we could see it. He did a lot of campaigning.
Absolutely.
He gave a lot of press conferences. A lot of people were with him who walked along with him. They went through the journey with him, and everyone they also had protested, saying holding placards saying Sachin Pilot as the next CM. But shockingly, what happened? Everybody actually thought that Sachin
Right.
Pilot would become the CM. I think even he himself thought that, with all the kind of majority he has
Right,
amongst
right.
the people, probably he would have. But that was not it.
And
surprisingly, Ashok Gehlot had become the chief minister,
Absolutely.
and things took a turmoil.
And we saw that the posters were sufficed supporting Sachin Pilot to be the chief minister. And
Right.
similar case was in the other state, Madhya Pradesh, where the government has fallen already, isn't it? Because
Right.
there was a split, and that person joining BJP, and Congress has been alleging that BJP is trying to topple the governments, and phone tapping, these kind of things have popped up.
Right.
Some audio tapes have popped up. And if we talk about the majority mark in the Gehlot camp, like how many MLAs he needs, so it is like 200 assembly where they need 101 MLAs,
Yeah.
support of 101 MLAs. And recently this Gehlot camp claims that he has at least 103 MLAs in his camp who are loyal to him. And if we break it down, 88 are from the Congress, 2 from BTP and CPM each, 1 from RLD and 10 independents too. After reprieve from the Rajasthan High Court in his slugfest with Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, Pilot has served a legal notice to Congress MLA Giriraj Singh Malinga for his statement that Pilot had offered him money to join BJP. A message on Pilot's official WhatsApp group said that it happened actually last night, that he served Malinga legal notice for the false and malicious statement he made to the press. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot is likely to call an assembly session next week to conduct a floor test. That is a very important thing, where that is the chance, that's the floor where he will prove his majority, and we'll
Right.
see what is actually going to happen next. How safe is his cadre or his government. And sources have said all these details, and we have gone through lots of papers. We did a lot of research to get all this information, and we have some visuals here. Let's take a look on the visuals first.
Drama shifted to the Supreme Court on Wednesday after the High Court reserved its ruling on rebel MLA's plea for Friday. Assembly Speaker CP Joshi has moved the top court against High Court, asking him to not take any action on Sachin Pilot and 18 other rebel MLA's disqualification till then. It is well defined by the Supreme Court that only the Speaker can decide on anti-defection. It can be judicially reviewed only later after the Speaker's decision, Joshi said. He added that the rebels' petition against the disqualification notice is a dangerous precedent that could lead to a breakdown of constitutional rules. Rajasthan's political drama shifted to the Supreme Court on Wednesday after the High Court reserved its ruling on rebel.
So what happened later? A day after Rajasthan CM accused Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat of conspiring to topple his government in a letter to Prime Minister, a Jaipur court on Thursday ordered the investigation against Shekhawat in the alleged rupees 884 crore Sanjeevani Credit Cooperative Society scam. The matter is being investigated by SOG since last year, and the petitioners in this case claimed that the SOG found that some money was allegedly transferred to companies owned by Shekhawat, his wife, and others, but their role was never investigated. The Credit Society opened in 2008 offering high interest rates on deposits. However, it allegedly duped depositors by siphoning the money under fake loans.
See, these allegations are happening on and off. I mean, the Congress cadre blaming BJP, and BJP, I mean,
Right.
putting the raids, CBI raids, ED raids, and we saw that, like, we have some more details
Here
here.
also
And
we can see a pattern from a BJP perspective point, because whenever BJP is targeted in any state or by Congress or any other parties, automatically next day or maybe after 2 days there is a raid that is conducted in most in one of their most important member or their
right,
team.
right.
They conduct a raid and suddenly that guy goes vanishing, and
Exactly.
and everything comes out saying that it was not done by
We
BJP,
observe the same pattern in
many states.
Karnataka also, where we
Right.
see that, you know, the raids were conducted, income tax raids,
Yeah,
ED
in
raids,
Kumaraswamy's
and
houses.
absolutely, yes. So this is like something we keep on, you know, like seeing all these things happening.
Yeah.
And if we see the state government is under this Congress right now, so they are also trying their best to, you know, conduct raids on, like, digging out the old cases and, you know, trying to harass each other.
Yeah.
And we have some more visuals here about this update. Let's take a look on those first.
Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat of conspiring to topple his government in a letter to the Prime Minister. A Jaipur court on Thursday ordered an investigation against Shekhawat in the alleged 884 crore rupee Sanjeevani Credit Cooperative Society scam. The matter is being investigated by SOG since last year. Petitioners in the case claim the SOG found that some money was allegedly transferred to companies owned by Shekhawat, his wife and others, but their role was never investigated. The Credit Society opened in 2008 offering high interest rates on deposits. However, it allegedly duped depositors by siphoning the money under fake loans. A day after Rajasthan Chief Minister accused Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat of conspiring to topple his government in a letter to the Prime Minister, a Jaipur court on Thursday ordered an investigation.
This political crisis in the state continued as Rajasthan Assembly Speaker CP Joshi told Supreme Court during hearing of his petition that the High Court had no jurisdiction to restrain him from conducting disqualification proceedings till July 24 against 19 descendant MLAs who belong to Congress, including the sacked Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot. So these things, like, you know, the tussle of power between the Speaker, Court and these political leaders is happening, and they are trying their level best to execute their powers given by the Constitution of India. And we see there are some loopholes, that something is not right somewhere. As a result, the common people are suffering. I really wish the political crisis should have not happened, at least in this coronavirus pandemic. We'll take a look on the next visuals, but before that, you were supposed to say something.
Well, that's nothing much, but you know, it's a political bullying that is happening right now in Rajasthan. Ashok Gehlot being a senior member and the leader, and Sachin Pilot is just the age of 42. He has a long
Right.
time to go. He has a long time before becoming CM. And see, in any sector, when you see, there is always an importance that is given to the
Seniors, yes.
That is because they have enough experience. They've
Right.
been through many different situations. They know how to tackle situations. Basically, they have an experience. They've seen it all.
Absolutely, the experience also matters when it comes to the party. When we talk about democracy inside the party.
Right.
So definitely, like, this was the reason. Congress being a very old party, it's not a new party.
Right.
So definitely they have to consider his work, his lifetime service to the party. As a result, he was given this chief ministership, and we see this young leaders also. People. India is a country of young.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we see a wave that people, they want some young leaders and educated leaders, highly educated rather, I would say. And I think this is the reason for the split, maybe.
Also, but here we cannot underestimate the young generation who's coming up, because they might be coming up with a lot of ideas, a lot of innovations.
Absolutely, lots of things have changed.
They're
Yes,
more aware of the technology that is booming right now. So there are many things we cannot we cannot judge them basing on their age or their experience. They might not be experienced with it, but they might come up with something which is way better than a traditional way.
Right.
Something you can look forward to, or something. A small change also reflects such a drastic.
absolutely, it makes sense.
Yeah, it gives a drastic view amongst the population as well, because they also get some sort of change in their government. They also feel comfortable, like, yeah, something is changing.
Absolutely.
We are still not stuck with the traditional way.
And
see, that's how the country develops, right?
yeah, you said it rightly. You know what, I saw something yesterday. It was a WhatsApp forward, and there was a drone. Like, it has a camera and it works automatically. It doesn't need a pilot. So they had given a description that before 10 years a pilot and a cameraman used to work, but now a drone has replaced both of them. So both of them have lost their jobs. So we have to upgrade with the time. So I feel that young leaders should also come forward,
Absolutely,
isn't it?
they have to be given a chance, and they have. It's another perspective of how they're going to prove themselves. But at least parties like Congress or BJP, because they follow a tradition, they follow
Right.
a certain path. It goes to them, and then their offsprings, and then their offspring.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's time that it should change now, and this
Right.
political bullying should be stopped amongst the leaders, because if they do not maintain the unity, how are they going to run a state, an entire state?
I feel something is not right within the parties, within the kind of setup we have, the system we have. It needs some updation, isn't it? So we
Absolutely.
can't judge a person by his age, or like, the person should have capability. He should have some knowledge to come forward and to bring some new ideas. So we have to grow on that part, isn't it? And when you call this the hereditary kind of thing, there's a lot going on in Bollywood also. We talk about the nepotism, so maybe we'll discuss it next time. So lots of things happening there also, but we'll take a look on the visuals first, and we'll further discuss it.
Going to end very soon. Today the Supreme Court clearly deferring the High Court's order and saying that the decision would be taken up and deferred the decision till the next Monday, clearly says now that the disqualification of the MLAs depends on the Speaker's move. Tomorrow the High Court will take up this hearing again, and this particular hearing gives more time to Sachin Pilot and his camp to decide the future course of action. The Gehlot camp, on the other hand, is very keen to prove majority on the floor of the House. Now it's clearly open that both the camps are ready to see to that this government with this decision by the court will put them into a comfortable position in the days ahead. The political uncertainty is not going to end very soon. Today the Supreme Court clearly deferring the High Court's order and saying that the decision would be taken up and deferred the decision till the next Monday, clearly says now.
However, the Apex Court on Thursday said that Joshi cannot decide on disqualification of rebel Congress MLAs till the top court makes a decision on this issue. It also allowed the Rajasthan High Court to go ahead and deliver its ruling on the plea by the dissident MLAs against the disqualification notices served by the Speaker, but said the verdict will remain subject to the outcome of the hearing in the Supreme Court.
See, that's what I was discussing, the tussle of power, Supreme Court, High Court, state government, central government, then these agencies, ED, Income Tax Department. So some sort of miscommunication, some kind of disconnect is there. Everybody is not on the same page. This is the thing.
Because when you do not go along with someone, you try to make them understand, or you try to tell them what's going wrong or something. But when the person is not listening and you're tired of working under him, that's what had happened with Sachin Pilot as well. He came out along with his MLAs and rebelled against Ashok Gehlot, saying that he's not okay working under him. And Ashok Gehlot came out also stating that he was also not okay with Sachin Pilot. And then many conspiracies came that BJP tried to
Right,
poach
they-
these MLAs.
Hmm.
BJP spoke to Sachin Pilot. Ashok Gehlot came up with several statements. He kept on releasing several statements.
Right.
But what happened in the end? The Congress party, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, all of them came together. Randeep Surjewala, they came
Right.
together and they openly said Ashok Gehlot. They declined the claims that were given by Ashok Gehlot, who's do not forget that he is the chief minister currently.
Right, right.
And by then, Sachin Pilot had been sacked. But still, Congress came together and said that no, we do not accept these claims.
Right.
And Sachin, doors are still open for Sachin.
Right, they
Pilot.
tried their level best. We'll see that Randeep Surjewala, he was on and off trying to get in touch with him, but Sachin Pilot was really upset now, I feel
Right.
so. And I see that there's some some leadership is missing in the Congress party itself. So from the top, the top leadership, they couldn't manage these things properly.
Right.
So
Actually,
something is some
because-
disconnect is there. As a result, BJP took an advantage. They tried to poach them. Of course, they would want to be in power.
Of course, when such a good person, such a young person, and BJP has now come out with encouraging such young talent, and at the same time Sachin Pilot having the rift with them
Right.
is obviously a chance for BJP
Absolutely.
to grab him. Why would they let go of it?
It was a win-win situation for Congress also to whom to choose as a chief minister.
Right,
The young cadre versus the senior cadre.
right.
We'll talk about it further. We have some more visuals here. If we go a little back, it was on July 13, former Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot had declared open rebellion against Chief Minister Gehlot, claiming that he has the support of 30 MLAs, Congress MLAs and some independents in the State Assembly. At that time, Congress grappled with the crisis in Rajasthan. Its top party leadership appeared to go all out to pacify Pilot, who has raised a banner of revolt against Gehlot, with senior party leaders saying that both Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi had spoken to the rebel leaders. This is what we were discussing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, what do we see here? You still see the bullying part of it as only, and Sachin Pilot came many. Let me tell you, Sachin Pilot, when he came initially, he had more MLAs with him.
Absolutely.
And by the time he took those MLAs to the Fairmount Hotel, so that nobody would poach them, there were already few of them who were missing.
Right.
And Ashok Gehlot was already holding his strength. What do you think was Sachin Pilot's confidence in this? How do you think that he must have?
See, if we take some look into the details where some audio tapes were released, so definitely he had some backup from BJP, and his case is taken by Harish Salve, who has been a big
I know
supporter,
he's the
big supporter of.
14th attorney in the General of India.
And,
14th General Attorney.
Not
in
only
India.
that, he's very intelligent, of course, but
Of
he's a
course.
big supporter of BJP. So that's the thing. So we have some more visuals. We'll discuss further. Let's have a look on the visuals first.
Right.  14th General Attorney in India. 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 14th General Attorney in India.
Well, as this issue escalated, Rajasthan Speaker CP Joshi had issued notices on July 15 to Pilot and other rebel Congress MLAs after the party sought their disqualification from the State Assembly. Sacked Deputy Chief Minister, that is Sachin Pilot, and the other MLAs were asked to respond to the notices by July 17. And adding that, Pilot and 18 other MLAs had defied a whip and did not attend its legislature party meetings. So this was a scenario like when Speaker tried to show his powers. He tried to issue a whip. If these MLAs don't follow that, they will be disqualified. This was the case. As a result, these MLAs, I mean the Sachin Pilot camp, they approached to the court.
Yeah, when Speaker wanted to conduct a meeting along with Congress leader, Congress had called Sachin Pilot along with his rebel MLAs for a meeting, for which Sachin Pilot had not agreed, and he did not attend the meeting the first time they called. They still called him in the second time, and still Sachin Pilot chose to ignore, and he did not attend the meeting along with his rebel MLAs. That is when Sachin Pilot went to Fairmount Hotel taking all his MLAs. So when he did not attend the second meeting as well, what happened then is, I think that is when he was sacked from his deputy chief minister.
Absolutely, because Congress tried their level best to talk to him before, even Rahul Gandhi had spoke with Gehlot and asked him to not to comment anything, anything personal in public or in media against Sachin Pilot until they tried to, talk to them, and they said like, our doors are open, our arms are open, please come back. This was the, information that was given from the party high command. I think we'll have a look on the visuals where Kapil Sibal will be there, and we'll see what he spoke today.
At the centre amid the political crisis in Rajasthan, saying that a vaccine was needed against a Wuhan-like facility in Delhi, spreading the virus of toppling governments. The senior Congress leader also called for amending the anti-defection law to ban all defectors from holding public office for 5 years and fighting the next election. His attack comes in the wake of Sachin Pilot's open rebellion against the Ashok Gehlot government. The Congress has accused the BJP of trying to topple the Gehlot government by indulging in horse trading. Congress leader Kapil Sibal on Sunday took a swipe at the centre amid the political crisis in Rajasthan, saying that a vaccine was needed against a Wuhan-like facility in Delhi, spreading the virus of toppling governments. The senior Congress leader also called for amending the anti-defection law.
Well, it was Sachin Pilot. On July 14, he got sacked as Deputy Chief Minister and the State Congress President after he did not show up at the two Congress Legislative Party meetings. The matter was taken to Rajasthan High Court, and on Tuesday it requested the Legislative Assembly, the Speaker, to defer action on disqualification notices till Friday, as it will pass appropriate orders on the writ petition filed by Sachin Pilot and 18 dissident legislators on the day, the Speaker's Council said. So the Speaker tried to disqualify them ASAP, but they took the, at the right time they approached the court so that this can be, they buy some more time to decide or think or get in touch with others or whatever their motive is. But my point is here, do you think that Sachin Pilot might or will, though he has said that he will not join BJP, very clearly he has said, or do you think he is going to launch his own party, or is there any possibility that he will join hands with BJP? What do you think about that?
So he's a very good candidate as how we are talking about, but BJP is, I'm sure BJP would be glad to take him, but at the same time Congress will also not let him go so easily, because he was one of the major pillars that held during the election time all of them together in the state.
Right.
He actually worked very hard. He conducted a lot of campaigns. He spoke to so many people. He traveled, and yes, he did put in his blood and sweat into it. And I don't think Pilot would easily shift to BJP as well, because there are some ethics that a person would follow, and I don't think he would probably just shift immediately. Or if we are talking about him coming up as an independent, for him to come up as an independent, he also need few other people more than what he already has now, and that is like a long run.
People
We cannot
were
be
guessing
thinking-
that he'll follow the path of Jyotiraditya Scindia, who joined hands with BJP just for the similar reasons, isn't it? And over there the government was toppled, and the government went to, in the hands of BJP, right? So later on he clarified that he is not going to join BJP, and the experts say that if he joins BJP, he is going to lose that respect that he has earned.
Of course,
So-
because he has been claiming so much that he's worked so much for Congress and is too very loyal
And,
to Congress, and he respects the people there.
Right.
He does not have any hard feelings against Ashok Gehlot personally.
Absolutely.
But it's professional wise, he's not happy with the kind of leadership he's dealing
Right.
with.
He has been like on and off saying the same thing.
Right. So that is why, so him taking such a big decision and going with BJP when clearly people of Rajasthan chose not to put them in power, that is going to shame him initially, because he would have had to face a lot of consequences after. Probably his loyal rebel MLAs who are with him might not be supporting this decision. Because,
Absolutely.
yeah, that is not a small call for him to take, because he's maintained his loyalty for so long in Congress as well.
And you won't believe there's a lot of criticism happening right now when it comes to Sachin Pilot, because he took this decision, right decision maybe for him, but at a very wrong time when the coronavirus pandemic is,
Right.
the India is engulfed with that. So we have around 12 lakh cases today, isn't it?
Yeah.
In last 2 days, the case have jumped
Yeah,
at 25,000,
45,000.
45,000. So these cases will go further up, isn't it? So maybe this was not the right time to fight for this. So we'll take a look on the visuals first, and then further we'll discuss it. You know what Malinga told reporters on Monday, that the talks were held at Pilot's residence, and the Malinga alerted Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot about the conspiracy to topple the state government. And I quote him here: "I had a talk with Sachin ji. He had offered money to join BJP, but I refused that I will not join BJP." I unquote. These were the words of Malinga. Malinga is in the Gehlot's camp and staying at a hotel on Delhi highway along with the MLAs. The MLA could not be contacted for some comments.
In the Supreme Court, asking the court to ensure that no orders are passed on the Rajasthan Speaker's petition until the camp of dissident MLAs are heard. The Supreme Court will continue to hear the Rajasthan Speaker's plea on Thursday. Speaker CP Joshi, meanwhile, on Wednesday moved the Supreme Court against the High Court order restraining him till the 24th of July from conducting disqualification proceedings against 19 dissident Congress MLAs, including sacked Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot. Joshi said the judiciary was never expected to intervene in such matters, resulting in a constitutional impasse. He said the 10th schedule of the Constitution envisions a limited interference by courts in matters concerning disqualification of MLAs. The Pilot camp, however, has argued that a party whip applies only when the assembly is in session. Sachin Pilot has filed a caveat in the Supreme Court asking the court to ensure that no orders are passed on the Rajasthan Speaker's petition until the camp of dissident MLAs are heard. The Supreme Court will continue to hear the Rajasthan Speaker's plea on Thursday. Speaker C.P. Joshi, meanwhile, on Wednesday moved the Supreme Court against the High Court order restraining.
Meanwhile, Pilot and the 18 dissident Congress MLAs have challenged their disqualification notices in High Court through a writ petition. The petition was taken up by a bench of Chief Justice Indrajit Mahanti and Justice Prakash Gupta on Friday. And arguments were held. The High Court had on Friday given a 4-day reprieve to Sachin Pilot and other Congress dissidents from any action by Rajasthan Speaker on the disqualification notices, which was served on them by extending the hearing into their petition. So these were some updates, how the tussle and the tussle of power is happening. High Court, then Supreme Court coming into the picture, then Speaker trying to show his powers also, but his hands are limited, since court stays higher than any other power. So we have some look on the visuals right now. Too late. Well, if we talk about the background of this complete split which happened in the Congress, in Rajasthan, the Rajasthan crisis, so the Congress Legislative Party issued a whip to all its MLAs to be present in the meeting which was scheduled to be held at Chief Minister's house, or strict action would be taken against them. Meanwhile, Sachin Pilot reaffirmed that he won't be joining BJP. Senior BJP leader and former Congress turncoat Jyotiraditya Scindia met him on 13 July at his Delhi residence. Congress MLAs along with Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and other leaders held a meeting for confidence motion. Sachin Pilot and his supporting MLAs who were also involved, invited to discuss the issue, but he denied. He demanded the post of Chief Minister of Rajasthan, which he had been denied after 2018 Rajasthan elections. On 14 July 2020, he was removed from the post of Deputy Chief Minister and from the presidentship of the Rajasthan Pradesh Congress Committee, along with his 3 MLAs from the post of ministers. So this was the background, and I think we'll take a look on the visuals to get more into it.
On Friday, on a petition filed by Sachin Pilot and 18 other Congress MLAs against disqualification notices issued to them by the Assembly Speaker, Advocate Harish Salve argued that acts outside the House are not violation of anti-defection law. Salve, who is representing the Pilot camp, went on to say raising disagreements regarding the dictatorial functioning of the Chief Minister is an internal matter and that it did not amount to defection. He said the dissident MLAs only want a change of Chief Minister, not of the Rajasthan government. Salve raised the issue of freedom of speech of legislators, saying that disqualification notices are an attempt to stifle freedom of speech and internal discussions. Salve added that a whip is not applicable to meetings at homes and hotels, and it only applies to proceedings within the House. Sachin Pilot's camp has urged the court to cancel the Speaker's notice.
See, after watching this audio visuals, we came to know that this tussle is going on and it will take some more time. It's too early to say anything what's going to happen next. We will come back again, maybe we'll discuss it further, whatever the updates are coming. But for today, this was our today's lead story. Thank you for watching.
Have a great night.